Hi everyone, this is Debbie with Debbie Talks a Lot, and this is the first episode of Money with Mom, where we sit down at the kitchen table, talk like a family, and I teach you about money. Today's topic is going to be cash. Now, I know we're in a world of debit cards and credit cards and Venmo and Apple Pay, and no one uses cash anymore, but you still need to know the basics of cash. What the denominations are, how to check something that's counterfeit, the emergency $20 bill. So those are the things we're going to talk about today. In future videos, we'll get into things like debit cards, interest, student loans, how to buy a house, and that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll stay with me and follow along in this video series. So the first thing that we're going to do today is talk about cash, money basics. Now, I know there's a 1, a 5, a 10, a 50 or 100, maybe a 50 or 100 arrived in a birthday envelope or a holiday envelope. Did you know there was a $2 bill? Yep. There's a $2 bill. As random as that is, people still use them. Stores hate them because there's no slot for them, but they're just a regular $2 bill. They work like cash. Usually they're a little older looking. But anyway, just something a little fun to know that if you see a $2 bill, it's real. If you see a $3 bill, that's fake. Something else you need to know about money is how to tell what something that's counterfeit looks like. So you have your typical $20 bill. If you're lucky, you have $20 bills. And if you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see a line in it that says $20 bill. Now, I wouldn't expect anybody to be at 7-Eleven and get their $3 back, holding all their dollars up to the light to make sure it's real. But just be aware. Things like 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, those can be counterfeit. And if you get caught passing a counterfeit bill, you could go to jail. But also, more likely, you just lose the use of the $20 bill. So you don't want that to happen. If it looks weird, question it. Just ask for a different dollar or a different $20 bill, $10 bill back. Okay, so that's the big dollars. Now, I know you've seen pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, that kind of thing. But did you know that there is a whole dollar, this giant whole dollar? Listen to this. Yeah, imagine carrying that in your pocket. That's still valid. There's a 50-cent piece. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. These are old, but these are still valid. Stores hate these too. Back years ago, when I was a kid, I worked at a movie theater, and it was $4.50 for a movie. I know what you're thinking. That's a long time ago. I'm old. I'm a mom. But we gave out 50-cent pieces instead of quarters. Later, people started to complain about the 50-cent pieces, so we went to quarters, which is easy. So the other thing is there is something called a Susan B. Anthony dollar. And if you look at it, it looks exactly like the size of a quarter. And now you're probably used to seeing the gold Sacagawea dollars. So they made them gold because so many people were confusing the Susan B. Anthony for a quarter and basically losing out of the use of 75 cents. Some other really things, so our neighbors to the north, the Canadians, their change looks a lot like ours, and a lot of times you will be returned change and you'll have a quarter, but it's not really a quarter, and something that looks like a dime, but it's not really a dime. So just be aware. In the grand scheme of the world, if you lose the use of something that's not really a dime, it's not a big deal, but just be aware. You know, sometimes it's fun to collect it, and hey, if you ever go to Canada, you can use it. All right. So that's a little bit about cash itself. Now, who cares about cash and why should you care? Sometimes maybe you spent a little too much money on your debit card and you don't have any money to spend when you go to the grocery store, or maybe you're going to the fast food restaurant. If you had an emergency $20 bill, how cool would that be? All right, so that's my encouragement for you. Keep an emergency $20 bill in your wallet at all times. When I was a kid, pre-cell phone, pre-debit card, credit card, pre-Uber, pre-everything, we were encouraged to keep a dime in our pocket whenever we went out of the house. We weren't told, keep $5, keep $10. It was a dime. And it was to use a payphone. Now, you've maybe never even seen a payphone in your life because they're nowhere because everybody has cell phones. But that was it. You can go off for the day, and mom said, do you have your dime in your shoe? Absolutely, you're fine. Well, life has changed. And now a payphone is 50 cents, which is still not very much, but you couldn't find one. But having a $20 bill in your wallet is great because if you're out with friends and you guys can't split money, if you want to go out and buy something at a restaurant and they won't split it with multiple credit cards, but maybe you hate Venmo, or you already owe too much on Venmo, or you don't have money in your Venmo, then you can just use $20 for cash. The other thing is, when you're driving, where's that gas tank? Probably pretty low. And if you don't have money in your account and you can't swap it around, but you have your 20 bucks, imagine how far you could go in the day for $20. All right, now, the other thing you want to do is make sure when you have your wallet, you keep things organized. Don't just shove all your money in there. You want to make sure it's really nice to have things faced. You know, your 10s and your 1s. In case you ever reach into your wallet for an emergency, you don't want to grab a 20 when you really wanted to grab a 1. Now, if you are using cash, which I think using cash is a great thing to do because you learn the value of it, and you know when the cash is gone, you're out. It's not something that it's easily to learn when you have a credit card or a debit card. That you're just looking at your bank statement, or hopefully you're tracking it, which we're going to talk about in another video. But when you have cash and you're out of cash, you know it's gone. So you're more aware of your spending. Now, I'm not saying to carry a bunch of cash. I wouldn't carry hundreds of dollars in your wallet. That's never safe. And you don't want to keep hundreds of dollars in your room. If you don't clean your room, you might lose the money. And the other thing is, if somebody comes into your house, you know, they'll grab your phone, they'll grab your fancy camera, your laptop, and if they see the cash, they're going to grab the cash. So you don't want that to happen. But cash is good to have around, like I said. You just don't want to have too much around. So you know to keep some money around, but you also want to make sure that you're respecting your money. Now, I'm the kind of person that if I see a quarter on the ground, I'll pick it up. I know people that don't give a care about their change, and they'll just throw it in, throw it on the ground, get rid of it. Change adds up, and you just want to make sure that you're keeping track of your change. So you can have something fancy, like my change jar, where I come home and I just throw everything on the counter, and I just throw it in the pretty vase, and when it gets to be a lot, then I go turn it in. Now, I don't pay to turn my cash in, to turn my change in. I turn it into, if I go to Coinstar or something like that, I will turn it into an Amazon card or something. It doesn't make any sense to save your change and then give someone 10% of it so that you can get cash. It just doesn't make any sense. So you just want to plan your purchases. If it's something where you're not going to ever turn in your change, then when you go in the day and you're going throughout, don't throw out the 20s. Reach in your wallet, take a second, grab the 48 cents. It's very simple. All right, so to recap the story, we're going to understand money. We're going to keep track of our dollars and respect them. We're not going to find $20 bills and $10 bills in our pockets that we forgot about. We're going to pick up the quarter because you know it all adds up. Throw it in your change jar, and when you turn it in, you're not going to pay any money for it. Not going to keep a ton of money around the house, but you're going to keep money around the house in case of an emergency, and you're going to keep your emergency $20 bill in your wallet for when you run out of gas. And that's pretty much it. All right, so as we're wrapping things up, I just need your help. I need you to put in the comments below what you would like to learn and what you wish your parents had taught you about money. If there's something that your parents taught you and you think other people should know, please put that in the comments below. If you like this video and you think that you would like to learn more about credit cards and interest and how to buy a house and how to avoid student loans, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.